All aboard! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Subway Surfer strap hangers, to my studio. That's right. On this train is where it all takes place. I sit in my seat and I wait for the clients. They don't know they're clients. Actually, they're victims. I sit down, wait for them to pile in, and then I start working. And I just wanted to share with you some of the drawings that I've done as a result of my travels along the way. So, stay tuned. Life imitates art, art imitates life, and that's especially true if you are Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling. I have spent so much time caricaturing, cartooning people on the subways, on ways to my gigs, in stores, anywhere where people congregate. But there have always been certain people that especially stand out, and I'd like to highlight them in this particular episode. Stay tuned, hang along for the ride. This man with the Porky Pig vibe here is Mr. Peter Lewis. Peter Lewis, along with his colleague Henry Dillard, are directly responsible for me even getting on the street initially and doing caricatures. I was on my way to a job interview at 330 West 42nd Street in New York City for a telecharge, and I got sidetracked by Peter drawing these fantastic caricatures. You know, he was near Broadway where the McDonald's was, and I began talking with him and his colleague about what they were doing. I became so fascinated, especially by Peter's technique, that I started asking him a million questions about how did he start this, how did he get out here, is he scared, blah, blah, blah. And he was gracious enough to invite me out. In fact, he encouraged it. He told me, yeah, you can draw, you can do this, it's easy. And he made it so welcoming. And I had tried to talk to other artists before, and they always saw me as potential competition and put me off, and rightly so. But Peter, along with his colleague, didn't do that. They were both so welcoming and inviting, and they set me on a course that has been personally and financially satisfying, and you might not even be listening to this broadcast if it wasn't for this man. He's a great caricature artist in his own right. Peter Lewis, he called himself OG Peter Lewis now. I suggest you check him out online. It's worth it. When I first moved to Long Island, I began looking for a church that I could worship at and attend, and I was attracted to this particular church because of the name, The Point. So when I came the first day and met the pastor, I was intrigued by his hairdo. It was literally standing up like that character Tintin in the old European comics. Whenever I see a person who's kind of interesting, odd, or quirky looking, in my mind, I automatically start doing a caricature. So I went home, did this caricature of him, came back next week and presented it to him to use in his social media advertising. This is a tactic that I especially recommend you use. You don't have to always wait to see money before you start drawing people. Sometimes you have to give up something. You have to whet their appetite. After all, people don't wake up in the morning and say, I want art. They might say, I want beer, but they don't say, I want art. And doing a freebie is an excellent idea to put the idea in their head to use you. And it often works. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's still going to spread your fame because they're going to show that picture around. So if you do this for people, I suggest that you have your business cards or your flyers ready. Hey, You never know, and I've certainly had satisfying results over the years using this promotional method, and you should too. There are some people on this earth who God created especially for Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling to draw. And this guy is definitely one of them. I was in Panera Bread just to change my scenery from my old studio, and I was working feverishly at something, and this guy comes up and he wants to clean my table. And so I looked up into that face. When I looked at that profile, I stopped this guy from working and said, "Can I draw you? You have an outstanding face. I'd really like to capture it." He was flattered. Of course he was flattered. So I took his photo and I started working on my iPad on this picture. And by the end of the shift, I gave this to him. Some people were made to draw. This is definitely another promotional tactic that you can use if you are a visual artist. If you're in a public place, draw some of the employees there, draw the manager there, and show it to them. Give it to them. In this electronic age of iPhones, you can easily drop that thing to their phone by the air. It's a no-brainer, and it's a great promotional tool. Trust me, when people see what you do, rather than hear what you do, they are more apt to promote you for other events. This caricature definitely stands out. It's one of my favorite character designs. I love to sit in public places because somebody always walks through the door who is the exact inspiration that I need to do a character design, like this young man here. I was in Dunkin' Donuts one afternoon. This guy comes walking in. He's 6 feet tall. He's got this enormous bush of blue hair combed down over his eyes. I must have scared him by the way I rushed up to him. I explained to him that I was an artist. I was working on a manga comic, which I was at the time, and I needed a lead character, and he fit the look. He was flattered. I asked could I take a photograph. Obviously he did, because you're looking at it. And I told him I'm going to have this character for you the next day. So I went home at night, did this character, and presented it to him the next day. He was thrilled, and I know he got bragging rights at school for this, and I got a new character. And this is exactly what the guy was wearing. Without, of course, the lightning bolts coming out of his hand. That's artistic license. Meet minister, evangelist, and missionary, Mr. Paulie B. Paulie approached me to draw a cartoon mascot of him to use in his social media project. With that signature hair, the bandana he always wears, the beard, not to mention a physique like a linebacker, that was easy to do. And this is what you want to do when you create character designs. If you're fortunate enough to get a subject that screams to be caricatured, you use that. Again, I can't help but repeat it over and over again. You do this to add vitality and life to your caricature cartoon drawings. Can't fail. Excuse this horrific caricature of me, but I promised him that I'd give him a guest spot today. So here it is. But I digress. If you found the content that you received today to be entertaining, informative, interesting, even if it just gave you a laugh, then strongly consider becoming a subscriber to this channel. Like, follow, and especially share. It helps me to go up in the ranks and motivates me to continue to make this scintillating content that you are consuming. As always, I'm Elgin Selby Surfer Bowling. Who else would I be? Your creative caricature marketing consultant. Feel free to email me at cartoons4u2@aol.com. That's cartoons, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2 @aol.com.